Assalamu alaikum. In this video we will learn how to write ba in Al-Kufi. As the previous one, we are going to take the 16mm dimension as our reference thickness for the letter. Now ba has several shapes to it. The first one, when it's single by itself, when it's connected with something, another letter, or when it's connected from the right. It's the same shape. Sometimes it increases height and sometimes it stays the same. For this lesson, we will look into all the different shapes for the ba. Just like what we did for the alif, we are going to choose our baseline. Let us take this line to be our base. Now, as we've established before, it's 16mm, the thickness of our text. So this point would be the thickness of our ba. From here to here, it is 16mm. Now, we can draw a dotted line to give us an idea where this ba will go through. Now, the ba, the base of the ba, is 8 times the thickness. This is d. Therefore, 8 multiplied by 16 will equal 128 millimeters. So, we will have to go to the left 12.8 centimeters. Here's the 12, here's the 0.8. So this line, this dot, will be the end of the ba. So from here to here, this is 128 millimeters, which is the base for the ba. We will not connect it as a rectangle because we've got a decoration here. Now, the ba has a head to it, the tooth of the ba. Now this, you can either make it 3 times the thickness or 2.5 times the thickness. We are going to take 3 times the thickness. This is 3d. And we start measuring it from the top of the thickness itself. So 3 by 16 will give us 48 millimeters. Therefore, we start from here. This is the 8, and we go all the way from here down. Now we've got a small decorative shape over here, this one. It is similar to the alif, so we start from the top and drop the whole thickness. From here, we will drop 1.6, which is this line, and we will close it. We've got the horizontal line. The vertical one, as we know, we've got first the full thickness, which is 1.6. This is the full thickness of the ba. And on top of that, we are going to move half the thickness, because if we remember from the Aleph class, from the Aleph lesson, we've got this decorative move. This was T. We move T over 2, and this is T. In the Aleph it was different. This was 1.5 T. So we are going to move half the thickness, which is 8, which is right over here. The same thing we do. We go down 8, which is over here, and we connect these two lines with a compass, or if you had a really good hand, but it would be better to connect them with a compass. And let's connect this one. The same rule, you can either have it curved or straightened. And now we can connect these two lines. Now, this decoration is also here. It follows the same rule. We move from the left the full thickness, and from down to up half the thickness. Therefore, we are going to move 1.6 to the right, is this line. And we will move upwards half the thickness, which is 8. And here we've got our top point of the decorative shape. We connect this one to this one. We locate the 8mm point on this line. Which is here. We connect the point to the line, and we connect those two together. Now, this is the basic shape of a singular bat. If it was connected from the right, all what you have to do is to continue this line, and there you have it, and you should color the full thickness you've got here. Delete this line. This is a connected bat at the end of the word. If it was in the middle, it's the same thing, you just add another one. Now, if you want it shorter, instead of going 3 times the thickness, you can go 2.5 times the thickness. Therefore, this height will be decreased. There is a decorative move if you want to add at the beginning or at the middle of the word, which includes the first part going down in a circular motion and then coming back. A rough look of it would look like this. This is the top of the bat. We go straight down. Let's say that this is the baseline. We went right. Now generally we have to stop for the thickness, but here what you can do is go all the way down, then up. And then you can continue the bat. Let's see how we can do this decorative move. All what you have to do for this move is locate the inner part of the head of the bat. It intersects over here. Now move to the left half the thickness, which is 8mm in our case here. This is the other part. Now this area will be empty. You will not fill it with ink if you want to use this decorative move. normally you will have to color the whole shape. But in this one, as we are going to add this decorative move, we have to leave this part empty. Now, we've located the inner side of the bar and we moved half the thickness, left this part without any fillings. Next, we are going to determine the circle that lays down here. This is actually a square just below the bar. Its dimension is half t by half t. Therefore, we've got 8 millimeters here. We are going to move 8 millimeters downwards, which is right over here. And there we have a squared part. For this one, what you need to do is get a compass and do this shape. It is half a circle, a semicircle, and you can connect it to this line. Now, in order to continue the outer edge of the bar, locate the midpoint of this, which is here, and move downwards the full thickness. For this lower part, what we've done is that we moved the full thickness down here. We've located the center point on which we are going to put our compass in order to draw this half circle, as we can see. Then you connect them together and you got this decorative shape to it. Let's fill that and see how it will look like. So there you have it. This is the shape of the bar by itself. As we've said before, if you want to connect it from the right, or what you have to do is add color here, depending on the letters before it. If you want to get rid of this decoration, you can just write it straight, and if it was in the middle, just look into this shape. Keep in mind that you can work it out with 3 times the height or 2.5 of it. Just make sure that this height starts from the upper part of the letter. So this would be our baseline. This would be our baseline. And from here, you've got the thickness line, TL. From here, you go up either 3 times the thickness or 2.5 times the thickness. Once you've drawn this part, you can color all of it. Now this shape works for the following letters. It works for the ba, ta, and tha. Because as we can see here, this part of the letter, the end part, is the same for all these letters. Meanwhile, the noon is quite concaved. We do not use this shape for the noon. The noon has a different shape that we will come to in the noon's lesson. What we are going to use for the noon is this part. We all know that in Arabic, the inner shape of the tooth, this is ba, da, tha, and noon. These are the same shapes. Therefore, this part of the letter could be used, if it was in the middle, could be used for ba, or ta, or tha, or noon. This is ta, this is tha, and this is noon. Also, we can see how we can put the dots for the letters. In Kufi, you can draw them in circles. The size of the circle will be the size of the thickness itself. Some people like to make different shapes to them, increase the size, decrease the size, so it's actually up to you. Therefore, this is a bar, so we can color a small circle beneath it. That's actually very small. Let's make it a bit bigger. Here we can add more decorative shape, which is quarter the thickness. It will look something like this. So this is the half circle that we painted. At the middle, you can have 2/4 of a circle. This far, or this length would be t/4, which in our case translates into 4 millimeters. If you want to add it, you simply move down 4 millimeters. This ended up at this point, so a 4 millimeter would be here. Go to the right with a tangent, connect this part and color it, which would look something like this. A pointy head to the back. To summarize, in this lesson we've learned how to write the following letters: the ba, ta, tha, and the noon when it comes in the middle. We've learned that ba has several shapes that we can work around with. If it came by itself, we can either have it simple with different heights. It could be triple the thickness, or 2.5 times the thickness. We can add a small decorative move to it, but that means we have to leave a gap here. It will look more like a hook. Or if it was in the middle, it will look like this. Let's change the heights. It will look something like this. Let's say this is 3t and the one in the middle is 2.5t. The scene has quite a different shape to it, so don't worry. If you wrote letters like this, it means that they are separate letters, not a scene. The scene we will see in a later stage, in another lesson, that it looks quite different from these shapes. Also, we need to note that in the middle, this shape works as a ba, a ta, a tha, and a noon. This is noon, the last one. Hope you enjoyed this video, and for your homework, as we've said previously, take the measurements that we've talked about and create a ba. You can connect it with an alif. For example, you can use the full decorative ba, connect it to an alif like we've learnt before, add the decoration for the alif if you want to, and write the word bab, which means door. You can play around it to make it look like a door if you want to. Make the alif in the middle so that it would look like the middle of the door. A bab on the right and a bab on the left, and a ba on the right and a ba on the left. So play around with the letter, use the dimensions and the measures we've worked out. Keep in mind that the thickness keeps the same, stays the same throughout the letter. And yes, let us show your talent in this script. See you next time.